I have been like all around the world this evening in regards to getting some content recorded because I respected myself during my birthday celebration time, and now I'm back and getting to it. So I have the weekly elemental forecast, but this week I let the ethers of the nets support me with a question with a theme of the week. So, our question is, where in my life am I being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? This tarot card of the week is the Temperance card. This week arrives at a gentle recalibration rather than a push. Temperance invites you into the sacred middle, the place where effort meets ease, where patience becomes power, and where integration matters more than urgency. The energy is asking us to slow our nervous system, blend what we've learned this year with what we know is coming next, and move with intention instead of reaction. Nothing is late, nothing is rushed, everything is aligned through balance, not force. Temperance card in tarot also asks us and reminds us that harmony is an active practice. You may feel called to adjust roots, soften boundaries that have become rigid, or strengthen ones that have grown porous. This is a week for refinement, tending to your inner alchemy, choosing moderation over extremes, and allowing grace to be your guiding frequency. Small, conscious choices ripple loudly now. So it's like tossing that rock into the waters and watching the ripples. Yes, so we're going to start with earth energy. And as we start with earth energy, we're going to ask the question of spirit, asking for our benevolent guides, our counsel, our spiritual counsel, our peeps that love to see us receive all the blessings. Where in the life of earth signs are they being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? So, spirit, where are earth signs being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of being pushed for immediate resolution? The Ace of Cups is emotional fulfillment. So, earth signs, where in life are you being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? Is in your emotional fulfillment. Um, like Jesus is Capricorn, so the gift is you. What you bring to the table is the gift, and when you finally open and connect, the beauty and appreciation of Six of Cups, sentimentality. That's the other card that came up. So I love this because where you're asking to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance is in the emotional sector, is in the romantic sector, and it's in heavy on your worthiness. Um, I got my little Sagittarius card, so I wanted to pull that out too. Thank you. I'm on Earth signs right now doing a weekly forecast, and I'm just going to pull out a Sagittarius message for the Earth signs for this week. What is coming up for patience, integration, sacred balance? Patience, integration, and sacred balance. This one, hearth and home. You are the seeker, the traveler, and the explorer of the zodiac. Thanks to the combination of Jupiter and Neptune, domestic warmth is something from which you escape, but which you always return in order to feel the comforts of your childhood. It's time to go searching again. So the beauty, it's holiday season. Like, pull. if you are one of like a family that enjoyed the old, I think I just seen someone post about like, yeah, I'm gonna watch the Cold War Christmas movies with my kids and no one's gonna stop me. Like that's the energy I'm feeling. Earth signs, and do your fucking big one. Like start whatever that nostalgia that this season brings. I honestly was just listening to someone damn near crashing out about the the woes of the holiday season and where people really don't want to talk about like the family that you miss and that you can still honor and venerate your ancestors by what you do with your earthside descendants, your peoples, your team. They want to see that. They want to see you doing earth signs. Your ancestral team wants to see you doing the shit that they did with you. That settled into your bones, into the earths of you, into the soil of you, of your garden, that lets your bloom be so beautiful for everyone else to witness. So, earth signs, I love this for you. I'm also going to give like a synopsis. I'm going to share this on my website. The Intuitivity tab has everything that's like individuals pushed into writings, and I love it because sometimes it's hard to receive all this, but you need all this. So get it by visuals, by reading, by experiencing one on one sessions. We're going to flip to the water signs. Um, and we're going to talk about what in life is being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution. You got to inbox me, babe. I'm sorry. I would love to work with you. The doula in me wants to work with you bad. I just posted a fertility and a womb meditation. So this is for water signs. So where in life is water signs being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? The King of Cups is the need to acknowledge deep feelings. Granted, we are literally on the onset, so each day this week is going to get longer and longer and longer, and then it's going to start getting shorter. And I love that. But the time in the darkness that we have the opportunity to spend with our shadow this week, um, those deep feelings need to be acknowledged, but in a safe place. So I am suggesting water signs to get into the shadow work this week because the shadow work is going to like sensory deprive you so that you can touch on what really needs to be touched on. And just for a clarifying card, asking for support for water signs. What is it that practicing patience, integration, sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? And that is the Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles has to do with luxury. Practicing patience, integration, and sacred balance. Because you keep high luxuries for you, don't love on other people in those high luxuries this week. Balance your time is also beautiful. It needs to be honored and respected and appreciated. I would say water signs that the deep feelings this week to go into is the luxuries of your love languages, revolutions. Expose yourself to your deepest fear. After that, the fear has no power, and the fear of freedom shrinks and vanishes. You are free. How often and in how many diaries have you jotted down similar thoughts about fear? You must keep this lesson in mind now that changes are on the way. So, deal with that shadow water signs and the blessings of this week will be continuing to come out. So next we have fire signs. Fire signs, we are asking where in the firefly's life are they being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? The Empress. The Empress has to do with abundance, nurturing, fertility in bloom. practicing patience, integration, and sacred balance. I just love when a full day of content comes full circle and ties in together because the sacred art of receiving was today's Goddess Glow message. I'm a fire sign, so I love when I ask questions and the major arcana pops out. The Empress card speaks to my spirit because I am a divine Empress, and we just ask for a little bit of clarity. Where exactly in our Empress is divine art of receiving femininity are we practicing integration? Page of Swords, acting without thinking. So, based on our intuition, Fireflies, join me in honoring as we practice patience, integration, sacred balance of our fertility, our bloom, our abundance, our nurturing energy, and doing that from intentionality, from intention, blessing that. Let's get a little Sagittarius message to further expand on practicing patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution. Oh my goodness, growing together. On the border between France and Spain, there's a small river island called Pheasant Island that is administered jointly by France and Spain, each for 6 months at a time. It seems they have yet to have a disagreement. Let this be your incentive to grow together with the members of your family. So, love this one every time comes together. We're gonna go through and at the end and have a lovely share. And now we're on our air element. Where in the airs like this week of December 15th are they being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? This one. Two of Wands, contemplation, and let's ask for a clarifying card. Oh my God, the Magician. The Magician has to do with the power of manifesting, action, and contemplation. I'm receiving that the efforts and energy put in to the manifestation, love of love. It is not a surprise that Neptune, so powerful in the Sagittarius sign, has once again gone a little too far with thoughts, expectations, and imagination. Half of the love you are experiencing you feel with touch, and the other half and imagination. Half of the love you are experiencing you feel with touch, and the other half is seeing somatic embodiment. That's what I'm hearing for air signs. Let's get a little deeper into our Let me just get y'all this clarifying. Anyone, if you are interested in connecting with a reading, I am excited to share with you. So, in closing, for Earth, patience is being requested in matters of emotional growth, grounding, and inner safety. The Ace of Cups opens a new emotional well, while the Six of Cups pulls memory, nostalgia, inner child healing to the surface. This pair suggests that it is rather than forcing closure or clarity, you are being asked to feel your way forward. There is something tender being reborn through remembrance, a soft truth, a reconnection, or a healed perception of the past. Balance becomes Balance comes from allowing emotions to rise without demanding they mean something immediately. Integration here looks now like honoring where you've been without living there. Earth energy is learning that emotional stability isn't built by rushing to feel better, but by letting the heart acclimate to its own expansion. This week, patience is practiced by tending to what feels familiar yet newly vulnerable, allowing joy, grief, and sweetness to coexist. The resolution arrives not through effort, but through emotional trust and gentle pacing. The water elements. Where in life are you being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? Water is being asked to balance emotional flow with self worth and long term stability. The King of Coins grounds watery intuition into mature stewardship, while the Nine of Pentacles affirms self sufficiency, earned abundance, and inner security. Together, they signal that emotional fulfillment now requires resting in what you've already built rather than chasing external validation or rushing outcomes. You're learning to trust the sustainability of your emotional and material ecosystem. Patience here is about letting success and security feel safe in your body. Integration happens when you stop over functioning for others and allow your independence to nourish you emotionally. Sacred balance asks of you to enjoy what you've cultivated, your skills, your boundaries, your solitude, without feeling the need to prove or justify it. This week, water resolves by staying rooted in self trust and letting abundance settle in instead of rushing to the next goal. Fireflies. Where in my life am I being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate release? Fire is learning that creation doesn't require constant explanation. The Empress embodies embodied knowing, while the Page of Swords brings curiosity, questions, and mental energy. Together, they suggest a tension between being in the process and wanting to talk about it, analyze, or announce it too soon. You may feel eager to name what's forming, but this week asks you to just let it just be. Patience for fire looks like trusting your creative womb without rushing articulation. Integration happens when instincts and intellect learn to calibrate instead of compete. Sacred balance invites you to honor the phase you're in, where inspiration is alive but still tender. Not everything needs to be shared, decided, or clarified yet. The power comes from allowing growth to mature before giving it a voice. And lastly, air signs. Where in my life am I being asked to practice patience, integration, and sacred balance instead of pushing for immediate resolution? Air strands, Air stands at the threshold between vision and manifestation. The Two of Wands looks towards possibility, while the Magician holds the tools to begin. This pairing reveals a moment where clarity is present, but timing is key. You're being asked not to rush the act of creation just because you can. Patience now ensures that what you manifest is aligned, intentional, and sustainable. Integration for air means allowing the plan to breathe before execution. Sacred balance is found in pausing long enough to refine your intention, aligning mind, voice, and action into one coherent spell. This week, resolution doesn't come from doing more, but from choosing when and how to act with precision. The magic is already in your hands, the wisdom of knowing when to use it. This was a good reading for this week. And get in tune if you would like a personal reading. I'm doing these lovely end of the year readings year in advance. I just did my own year in advance, and that has some things to talk about. I'm really excited to have a theme for each month, an intention and energy to hone in on and tune into and tap into to articulate my greatness. So I'm excited to share with you. I look forward to connecting, and you can find this on the Intuitive Tea tab on my YouTube page, TT by Tiana Taylor. Thank you.